This is a Looney Studios podcast. Hello and welcome to Aerde Talks. I'm Hunter Looney, the Game Master, and this show is here to dive deeper into the world of Aerde, which is traversed in Aerde Tales. I'm joined today by Leah, who plays Gamori, and Noah, who plays Jeffrey. Today we'll be discussing the latest episode of Aerde Tales and Abduction Magic. So, y'all, Gamori called up Jeffrey. I think my first question is, how do you think Jeffrey, I think you did a good job of reacting how somebody, that hadn't been outside of their, area would react to all this information just being unloaded.
I guess he would just go with the flow more so.
See what's going to happen with all of this information.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, you found out a bunch of stuff about your world that was different than what you thought it was, and you met dragons for the first time, you met a lich for the first time. I mean, Gamori did too, but yeah.
In the span of 24 hours. And you met a pirate wrestler, if we expand out to 48 hours. So, Jeffrey's been having a whirlwind so far.
It's true, you fought a pirate wrestler and a lich within 2 days.
Yeah, my life's kind of weird now.
Yeah, and this is an 18-year-old that's just setting foot out in the world. I think you're doing a good job playing it, and how he would be just kind of not overstimulated. That's how a cat just overloaded with everything. So, what made you think to have Jeffrey be a little afraid of the dragons?
They're big. I haven't seen one before. Plus, parents told me that, these big creatures, they fun to murder you.
And then you might have heard tales as a kid, that big animals would murder you, but you hadn't met dragons, so you didn't know that they were just people. So
yeah.
Yeah. You said in between when we recorded that and this that you didn't think there'd be dragons this soon.
No. And you'd had dragon minis for a while, so I assumed you would want to use them at some point.
Yeah.
But I guess I thought it was going to be later in the season, or season 3.
Yeah, they are one of the rarer species in the world. As they said, on purpose, they were kept rarer. But Shay has all these connections with longer living species and people from her time, in the war and stuff like that. So I wanted to show that and also introduce other species that are cool.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, how did y'all like the lich?
So, definitely different.
Scary.
It was killing me to not practice the voice around you all or with you all before the recording. It was driving me crazy. Yeah, I kept wanting to do the voice and practice it and also show you all it because it's so ridiculous. But I didn't get to.
Yeah.
Because y'all supposedly like surprises.
Did you do it at when you were by yourself though?
Yeah. Yeah, I would do it just a couple sentences here and there when I could and stuff. So it was more raspy and high pitch before the recording, And then that's what I just settled into. It was fun. I like doing it. What about their spouse that looked like a badger?
When they were cute.
Yeah,
And nice and baked, so Leah likes that.
and I hadn't planned for you to have a conversation about food before you all. Like, I had planned the tarts were part of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to talk about food and vampire before that, which ended up being interesting. Because, had no idea.
Yeah, that was weird because it was like right after I asked about it. You're like, this person made these tarts that are especially tasty for you. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the tarts were pre-planned. That other conversation was not for me on my end. So, like, what is a thing, like a baking thing that you would reduce like that? Like, you have a pot of something.
I mean, I think the only thing
Like, you got to
that
do it on
comes to
like a
mind
jelly.
is strawberry cake. When you make strawberry cake, you reduce the strawberries, and it like infuses the cake with more flavor. That's the only like way that you can get the strawberry taste that strong without using like artificial strawberry flavors.
Yeah, so think of that, but then keep having to repeat that step over and over and over again with the same concoction. So I knew a little bit about baking, enough to make that make sense in that world.
Sure. I mean, I'm not sure what would happen if you...
I'm pretty sure you would probably end up with like a gum or paste or something, right?
Yeah.
So then I know Noah had trouble. Like, you're still feeling out Jeffrey on how, like, everything, like fighting with him, how he thinks and everything like that, which you're only 3 episodes into playing as him. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted the Lich to... I purposely had built in that the Lich, when he figured out you were from the Thunderblades, would challenge you, and I hoped you would accept, so that then you'd have another chance to use like your practice fighting and stuff with that character and start feeling out that character a little more. How did you think the fight went?
Pretty good, I guess.
When you don that armor, it makes it hard for me to hit.
I wonder what... Ooh, I need a protection spell and don the armor. Make it a nat 20.
It seemed like that he had on some kind of both magical under protection and physical under protection too.
So what was his armor
chainmail and
class?
stuff. I think I made it 15
yeah.
to make it to where...
Yeah, like that armor pretty much makes you kind of OP. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I had made it to where
17.
Depending on which weapon he chose for him, which you kind of like punted that and was like, I don't want to... It would be how well he did against you. And so since we went greatsword, he's not great with a greatsword. So
Great with the greatsword.
do y'all have any questions for me about any of the characters or anything? Apparently, Chloe, the just turned adult dragon kid. Apparently, that is short for like Chloe in some versions of like names and stuff. CLO is like a older version or something like that. When I was looking up names and stuff.
Cool.
I have a little... Do you want some peeks behind the screen? The DM screen or GM screen?
Yeah, sure.
On their names. So, one of them was a blue dragon, right? So, the blue dragon, Althea, Althea apparently means healer in some cultures. The blue dragon. And then Baskar is the yellow dragon. And that name means in some cultures sun, like S-U-N. And then Clo means green shoot. And they're in some cultures. And so they're a little green dragon. Yeah. So it was blue dragon, a yellow dragon, and then they made a green dragon.
Wow. I didn't get that when it happened.
That's why I brought it up.
No, I didn't think about it. I was just like, oh my god, there's dragons.
Well, yeah.
I wasn't thinking about color theory.
And also, it's going to be cut, like it's cut out, but the, it took me a second with the dragon minis because I hadn't glued their base on yet, so they kept falling over. So we didn't get to be like immediate, boom, dragon on the board. All right, do y'all want to talk about abduction magic now?
Sure.
Oh. So abduction magic focuses on the forcible taking of things from people, other living creatures, or the environment. So the level 1 spells, they cost 4 magic points to cast and are generally associated with a d4 dice in our version. And so in abduction, it has absorb recent memory and apathy in the level 1 spells. So absorb recent memory, the caster can telepathically learn the most recent memory of the person that this is cast on. The caster learns 1d4 sentences of memory of the target, and the target receives the same 1d4 of psychic damage. And then apathy, the person who this is cast on suddenly has an overwhelming lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. The duration of the spell is 1d4 minutes, and if it works on the target, they are stunned for the duration of the spell. So they can't really do stuff. Alright, level 2 is they cost 6 magic points and are associated with a d6 die. There's absorb strength, pain transferal, and wound transferal. So absorb strength, you can temporarily absorb the strength of another living being. Pain transferal, this allows the caster to transfer pain from one living being to another living being. And wound transfer, this allows the caster to transfer wounds from one living being to another. Alright, so let's go up to level 3. It gets crazier, obviously, as you go up.
Obviously.
So level 3 spells cost 8 magic points to cast and are associated with the d8 dice. So you got absorb health points, induce pain, and disease.
Man, 2020 got us with that one.
Yep, that's what happened. A lich or somebody cast disease. Alright, absorb health point. This allows the caster to absorb the health points of another living being. Induce pain. The caster makes an attack roll against the targeted person or creature, and if it hits, it takes 2d8 psychic damage of induced pain. And then disease, obviously, it allows the caster to inflict a disease upon the target. So the caster rolls a 1d8, and whichever one of those they get, there's a list of 8 diseases that they would get from that. Alright, level 4. They cost 10 magic points and are associated with the d10 dice. And so you have absorb magic points. You could literally refill your magic points bar from somebody else. Expel entrails. And curse. So let me explain the expel entrail, because your face is like, oh no. The caster makes an attack roll against the targeted person or creature. If the attack hits, the target takes 1d10 plus 5 damage and becomes violently ill. They feel as if they are about to expel their entrails. They are so sick. And this stuns the target.
Okay. But they don't actually?
No.
Okay.
And then curse works like disease, except there's a list of curses that are put on.
Oh, I thought it just made the person curse. No.
Yeah, it makes them cursed, but
No.
they roll a 1d10. Oh,
Like
you
it
make
makes
them
cuss.
say a bad
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was kidding.
All right, so level 5 is 15 magic points and associated with the D12 dice. So you have Absorb Life Force 1. This allows the caster to absorb the life force of another living being. The target, let's see, if the target fails to save, the caster de-ages 1d12 plus 12 months, and the target loses the equivalent.
What?
If, let's say, I cast this on Noah, if this magic existed in real life, and I rolled a 1.
Yeah.
So that would mean 1 plus 12 months. I would de-age 13 months, and you would age 13 months.
Jeez.
So then there's petrification, where if the target fails, they are transformed into a solid stone statue of themselves, along with whatever was on their person. And then possess. This allows the caster to possess a target, but for the duration of the possession, the caster's body is incapacitated. If the target fails, they are possessed by the caster's body falls limp, and the caster controls the target for 1d12 minutes. After the possession ends, the target has no memory of what occurred during the time and that they were possessed.
That's harsh.
Yeah. All right, level 6, the highest levels ones. All right. Absorb Life Force 2. This one works the same, except the caster de-ages 1d20 plus 24 months.
Dang.
And then pretty much takes that from them. So they age and they de-age. Subordination.
So you could potentially take up to 22 years from someone.
No, it's months.
But it's a D20 plus 24.
Yeah, so plus 2 years.
Oh, it's
months.
months.
There's 2 years and then 20. So possibly 44 months.
Okay, I thought the roll was years. Never mind.
At least 25 months. Possibly 44 months. Yeah. But the person could cast that multiple times if they're a pretty powerful magic user in a day.
Yeah.
Alright, so then subordination. This allows the caster to make the target their subordinate. This works pretty much like possession, except the caster doesn't lose the use of their body. If the target fails, they are controlled by the caster, and the caster controls the target for 1d12 minutes. That's supposed to be 1d20 minutes. Typo. This is the craziest one and the last one for this one. Personal domain. This allows the caster to create an area where they have immense power over the area. The caster touches an object to become the focal point of their personal domain. This cannot be something living. The caster rolls 1d20. If they roll above an 18, the personal domain is achieved. The personal domain expands out 120 feet in every direction from the focal point, and at this point the object cannot be moved. If the focal point object is destroyed, then the spell ends. Otherwise, this spell ends after a year. This spell can only be cast once a week, and only if they do not have an active personal domain. The limits of this immense power of this spell are not known to have been reached.
I don't understand.
I need to learn that spell.
Okay, this allows the caster to create an area where they have immense power over the area.
literally you like have a little pocket dimension into where you're God.
It's like your dream world.
You can do anything. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Any questions about any of those?
Nope.
No.
All right. That brings us to the end of this episode of Aerde Talks. In the next episode of Aerde Talks, we'll dive deeper into alteration magic. Let's take some time here at the end to go over some information. I want to invite everyone to visit patreon.com/Looney Studios. The link is in the description. There's a link there that anyone can submit a magical item that could appear in universe. You don't have to be a patron to participate, and you can even participate anonymously if you want. While you're there, take a couple of minutes to look at the Looney Studios Patreon. If you become a patron, you gain access to the podcast early, among other perks. And thank you to all our current patrons. You help support Looney Studios and Aerde Tales. And Looney Studios can be found at looneystudios.com and at the social media platforms listed in the description. Please give a review on your favorite podcasting site, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and submit magical items on our Patreon. The Looney family hopes that you have a wonderful day. That was a Looney Studios podcast.